Let's call the meeting to order here, please. If we could start out with a roll call, please.
Absolutely. Ms. Carol Killian?
Here.
Mr. Christos Mavronos?
Here.
Mr. Mr. Harry Lloyd?
Here.
Mr. Bob Rand?
Here.
Mr. Derek Harris?
Here.
Mr. Keith Norden?
Here.
Miss Nancy Kiefer? And Mr. Lou Paris for
Here.
Katrina Farrell?
Mm-hmm.
Have I missed anyone?
No, Nancy is out of town, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miss, in your hair. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Traeger.
Yes, Ms. Traeger.
Ms. Traeger's here.
Ms. Ruth Traeger.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if you'll remember, Chris at his last meeting gave us a list of those dates that he was going to be out, and this was one of those.
Right. Okay. Very good. Okay. Everybody should have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Can we have I hope everybody's reviewed them. Can we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Let's move on to reports. Volusia County Economic Development. Lou Paris, welcome.
Thank you.
If you would take a minute to introduce yourself, and although you were here and
Last time, yes.
yeah, you got your introduction. But so what's happening in the county?
So I'll give you an update here. Beginning with the Q Breakfast is this Friday, May 17th. The topic will be the impact of downtowns in our county, and so we'll have. Let's see, we have New Smyrna Beach, we have DeLand, and we'll have the Berry. So it's a very interesting combination in that we'll have the oldest downtown in the county next to what will be the newest downtown, next to a city that has two downtowns. So I think it'll open up interesting conversations about economic development. We have another event lined up for June 18th. It's called Biz Ability event, and it's geared to help the community with funding knowledge and funding issues, to learn how to approach lenders and how to lock in the necessary resources to be able to grow their businesses. We also have, let's see, two more programs that I would like to mention. One is the concierge, the permitting and code enforcement concierge service. This is for the community, whether business or private, to receive assistance in navigating the permitting process for the county land that is, or properties that are in county land. We also are proud of having launched recently something called the Funding Readiness Center. This is something that was created from the Volusia Business Resources partnership, and Jeff Brown was part of making that project a reality. Let me explain that briefly. When Volusia Business Resources discovered that one of the greatest needs that the business community has is funding, and one of the biggest challenges to grow, to operate and grow, the partnership looked at ways that it could help. Of course, the logical answer would be, well, give them money. But in the absence of having cash available to distribute with businesses, the next best thing that we could find was a platform that would help businesses be ready for seeking loans. And we learned this through cooperation with the banks. We heard time and again from lending institutions that many of the people who come through the door seeking financial, to seek a loan, they were not ready for it. They did not know what documentation to present. They did not how to articulate what how they were going to be using the money, the funds. And so this platform seeks to solve that. It's a self-vetting tool where you go through a checklist of things that you need to be successful in securing funds. And in case you answer, quote unquote, the wrong way, meaning something that sounds deficient, you receive assistance through a video, an explanation of how to correct that and how to solve it. So those are two platforms that, again, the Funding Readiness Center and the Concierge Program that are available to the public. And also, I don't know if this has been mentioned earlier in a previous meeting, but I'll mention the zoning and land use maps that are available through businessflorida.org. We have just launched these maps, again, available to anyone. You can see any property on the county, how is it zoned and its land use. So it's, again, phenomenal tool. And let's see what else I have here.
And what is that? What is the website again for the zoning maps?
So it's floridabusiness.org,
Okay.
which is the county economic development website.
So is that the county zoning maps as well as, are the cities?
Everything is
Included in
in
there?
there, yes.
Okay,
All
got
the
it.
cities, anything that is within the confines of the county would, you would be able to find any piece of land and see how it's zoned and you know, its use.
So what's that website again?
floridabusiness.org.
Thank you.
And you can get to it if you happen to forget that name. If you go to volusia.org, you can get to, when you find economic development, it will take you to that website.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Well, thank you.
One comment?
Sure.
I think it's encouraging to see the attempt to help people coming in for businesses now at the county level and with the TRT review. I was wondering, is St. John's involved in any of this? Because sometimes they can be a bit of a stickler in this process. Do you get it with St. John's involved when you're introducing a development or a business to the area, when you're going through that service?
When you talk about St. John's as in the county?
Water management, St. John's Water Management.
Oh, water management. I am not familiar with, so, yeah, I don't know to what extent we're cooperating.
That's a great point, though, because that, in addition to funding with people with land, funding is always an issue, but St. John's Water Management can be a real tough, unknown factor when someone's trying to develop a piece of land.
Yeah.
And including that in the education piece, I think might be good.
I'll educate myself on that
Very good.
specific topic. Now, with the concierge program, I know that all utilities are our team member who is running that program and taking in all the calls can handle any kind of utility question. And so, in that regard, yes, we're definitely connected to anything you may need to.
What kind of response have you had from for your funding readiness program? Are people accessing it and using it? Because
So-
it is a critical piece.
It is a critical piece and a good question. We have done a soft launch so far, meaning that only the partners of the Volusia Business Resources have had access to it, as well as the banking community. The idea was to detect any potential issues with the functioning of the website before releasing it to the public, we have just submitted a press release to our communications arm of the county government, and we are preparing a timeline of all the things that we will be deploying sequentially to promote it. And the idea is to go out in the community with a big splash, if you will, of events, including the visibility event that I mentioned. Well, we will showcase this let me call it product, and to promote it ongoingly. So to your point, I think it would be a good idea to track and provide to the group an ongoing progress report on its use.
If I could ask, do we have a public relations department or something that could really put a lot of this information out? Because many of the things that we discuss here, many of those that I come in contact with, they're totally lost. They pretty don't know. They don't know anything that's really going on. Do we have a public relations that can really be able to really get this out to the community?
So in the county, we have a communications arm, and that's who we're using right now to do and I think it's the same thing. We're just calling it a different name, and they do anywhere from public releases to manage all the media that we have available, the different channels that we have to communicate these programs.
Okay.
All right.
So
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Lou. Team Volusia Development Corporation, Keith Norden. How are you,
Thank
Keith?
you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Pleased to be here to update you. We still have a very aggressive business recruitment schedule with Tawan in my office coming back from MRO and aviation-related trade show. Met with 40 companies, have several leads from that. And then, of course, we continue to make sure that we build relationships with site location consultants that very easily might refer a company or validate our area for prospective projects. So we've done 4 almost back-to-back events. The team has traveled to the Site Selectors Guild, which has the top 60 site location consultants in the world. Tawan Arrington went to that, as well as the Site Selectors IMC, as well as the SEDC Meet the Consultants program in Atlanta. So we have several aviation-related projects I mentioned. A couple recently visited, and we had, as I reported last time, a company that we had met at the Paris Air Show did visit, and they've shortlisted our area along with one other area in Florida, and they're looking at Texas, but we have a good advantage at maybe winning that project. You never know when there are other states at competition, competitive issues. And then we're excited that on June 7th, we have a board meeting which is open to everyone, and we have Dr. Stephanie Miller presenting Embry-Riddle, as well as Matt Chestnut, the Director of Economic Development, presenting for Space Florida. So that meeting will be at the Henderson Welcome Center at Embry-Riddle, so all of you are welcome. It's an open meeting, but I think those presentations will be insightful. And then tomorrow we have a visit by Nathan Oley. He's the President and CEO of the International Economic Development Council. That is the national group of economic development organizations, 5,000 organizations, and he will be here to present our plaque as an accredited economic development organization. So we're excited to host him here in Daytona Beach.
Very good. Congratulations on the accreditation. That's a big step.
Thank you. We're 2%. There are only 2% of all the economic development organizations in North America that are accredited. So we're excited about that hard work by the staff and our local community. We had 26 interviews on the 2-day site visit. So I applaud all of the community effort that went into this.
Very good. Any questions for Keith? Okay, moving on. Nancy Kiefer from the Chamber is not here today, so we'll skip over the Chamber report. Economic and Strategic Opportunities report. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You got your TRT report and our CO report. If you look at our CO report, I think it reflects some of the state of the economy and what we were seeing now finally start to show up here locally. If you remember, probably this time last year, the number of permitted units was probably somewhere closer to 300 in some cases, and we're now down about half of that, and I think that's just a direct reflection. The multifamily is still a big driver in a lot of our permits. What we're seeing coming in the door are those projects that we're starting to see come in the door, as opposed to some single-family new projects. And I think it's just a reflection of the interest rates and the economy as a whole right now. The TRT report, there's nothing really in there except for we're starting to see some movement on Project West, which is the former Baptist Church property. We're starting to see some movement with them, and hopefully we will begin to see some activity with 400 Beach as well.
So when we look at the project here that says Daytona Beach, the storage building project, that's the First Baptist property out west, correct?
Which one are you looking at?
It's down about 3/4 of the way down. It's a site plan for Daytona Beach Baptist Church storage building project located at 10 First Baptist Parkway.
No,
That's
that's
the
a
west.
difference. Yes.
Yeah, that, okay, yeah, okay,
Correct.
all right.
Also, my department's been finishing up, or actually, we're hoping to have finished up all the permitting, the property permitting for Biketoberfest, with all the property owners that want to be part of the festival in October. And so we're moving that project along and getting it to where it's to be ready to be presented to the city commission. We're also looking at revising the guidelines on how we deal with Bike Week and Biketoberfest and how we move the property owners and the itinerant vendors in particular through our process, and trying to make it a little more easier for the property owners. I know Ms. Traeger, as one of the participants in, hopefully that this year with the going online made it a little bit easier. And in going forward, if the guidelines change from where we've drafted them right now and still kind of keep our status, property owners such as Ms. Traeger will be able to just move information from last year forward in the system, so that we're not having to come in, refile all the same paperwork that was the same paperwork from the previous festival. So we're trying to make things a little bit easier for the public and make the process a little bit easier for everybody involved. Yes,
So
ma'am.
that'll be the same model for the Bike Week,
It-
sort of?
If the proposed guidelines go through, it'll be, I'll say, easier for the property owners. Much easier than what it even currently is now. Right now, they have to present a lot of information, they have to present site plans. Under the proposal, that would not be occurring.
When is the deadline for our property owners to be able to submit?
It was April 26th, I believe.
So the deadline is closed for Oktoberfest, for Biketoberfest.
Yes, sir.
Looking at these single-family numbers on the CO report, out at LPGA, the houses are going up so fast, and that's just one development. Of all the developments out, I'm talking about the one off right near the golf course. 80 in 6 months just seems like a.
No, that's not 6 months, that's 30 days.
I thought June
Oh, I'm
through
sorry.
January.
I'm sorry, no, I meant to strike January. No, that is just,
Okay,
it
so
was
that's
just
one month.
April.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right, very good. Okay, moving on. Old business, do we have any old business that we need to discuss? New business? Anything?
I have new business.
Okay, Keith?
I failed to make part of my report.
Okay.
I need to do a better job. This is the livability. This is the fourth annual edition of this. Team Volusia works with livability media, and this is online, but also it's a talent recruitment piece. So we're excited about this, and it's one of the best that we've had. This is also used in conjunction with the lifeinvolusia.com site that is talent recruitment, quality of life piece that we work with FPL on. So both of those pieces are done effectively to recruit really the 25 to 45 age group to the area that are potential employees for our employers.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, I did forget two
Great
things.
publication.
And Keith, I need to see you after the meeting to talk about potential project. Also, two things. One, we're looking to partner with Rollins College on helping them bring a program to town to help work with our nonprofit agencies in the community and how to strengthen them and provide them some assistance going forward in a program. And then second thing is, for those of you that have RSVP'd for tomorrow night, don't forget tomorrow night.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm going to miss it. I'll be out of town.
And have a meeting.
Okay, public comment. I'm sorry?
I'll be there.
Okay, public comment. John Nicholson. Good morning.
Good morning. John Nicholson, Daytona Beachside. If you remember what I spoke about last meeting, I got my head handed to me when I ran into the mayor. He thinks it's a terrible concept not to stack seniors downtown. He considers it racist, bigoted, and anti-seniors. But to me, you can't stack a lot of people who have no money in one area and expect the area to boom. They're not going to buy the things in the area. They're not going to shop. They're not going to go to the restaurants. They're not going to go to the functions. I still hold it as true that we need to concentrate on yuppies and upper middle class who have the disposable income, and just my view. Secondly, went to a CBB meeting yesterday, and one of the things I mentioned was the hotel rooms. We, believe it or not, since Matthew, which is a hurricane that was several years ago, we still have 5 hotels, over 1,000 rooms empty. All right? That's a lot. When you talk about the 3% that goes to our advertisement, that goes to the Ocean Center, those people that shop in our restaurants and whatnot, they're not there. It's hurting our economy. And I believe we need to concentrate. The staff says, well, it's none of our business, but I believe it to be our business because it affects us. All right? I know several commissioners have said that we no longer have tourists in Daytona Beach. We do. If you've been to any of our events, we've got 9 events of over 100,000 people. Most cities would die for 1 event, let alone 9. So appearance, I hit TV yesterday. I hit it wherever I can. The city has spent $100 million on downtown to make it look nice and have amenities, $50 million to Midtown. We have yet to break $1 million on Beachside, all right? We are starting to because they're redoing ISB. But other than that, in 10 years, less than $1 million, that's not a lot for our tourism. And trust me, talk to Evelyn Fine about the amount of money that tourists bring to our community, especially Beachside. It is a valid reason to keep Beachside clean, neat, and up to date. Third, we have basically, someone said 2 downtown. We have 7 downtowns. We have downtowns on the Beachside because we used to have 2 cities. And technically, the boardwalk is another downtown. We have our downtown. Midtown has 2 downtowns. So we have plenty of downtowns. Where do you concentrate? Right now, we're concentrating on Beach Street downtown, but there are other downtowns, and how do you balance that? Because you can't have 7 downtowns. New York can have it, all right? We're too tiny a town to have 7 downtowns, so we've got to look at that. Mass transit, I saw on his brochure, the train, we will never get Sunrail to Daytona Beach. So what are we going to do for our mass transit? Okay? I looked at something years ago for the city and ran across a 1960 projection for the year 2000. 250,000 people in the city of Daytona Beach. We're a couple of people short, all right? But we are building right now. And I know I have an argument with the mayor about how many people are in Margaritaville, or even if they're going to start Margaritaville before 2025. They're there already. Okay, Tanger Outlet Mall is successful. We are building beyond what we anticipated ever. So at what point are we going to say we got to think of mass transit? Because we have to move those people. And how are we going to do it? I know Reed Berger said take out one side of ISB from the Speedway all the way to the beach. You can't take out an entire city block next to a roadway like that. So what do? I'm thinking of those, what Brazil does, those air gondolas, right over the top. It could be a tourist attraction and a way of moving people. And then you don't have to buy a lot of land. It's kind of cheap. And lastly, years ago they did Target. I don't remember what it was. It could be Take Part 2 in the 90s. But they decided to search for and push medical facilities. Then there was one where they tried to hit the distribution centers. What's the newest and latest thing coming down the pike? I mean, pickleball's over, all right? But what sport is coming down the pike? What artificial intelligence? I don't know whether we could ever get on board that because I think we're like a day late and $1 short on that one. But what's coming down the pike that we could come here with that nobody else has yet. And then we can promote it, give money to it or whatever to get them to come here, because that's where the money is, the big money, when people want to hire people. I know tourism is big here, but it doesn't pay well, all right? Anything in AI and whatnot pays well, and I think we should target that. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'm sorry, did John say yuppies? Did you say yuppies?
Yep. Yes,
Okay, I
you
just,
did.
Yep.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that word in like 20 years.
Ask the grandparents.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
All right. Any other comments? Okay. Our next scheduled meeting is 8:30 a.m. September 18th. So we're got a few months off here for the summer. So September 18th at 8:30 a.m. With that, I think we'll.
Mr. Chairman, one last thing before you bang the gavel. Just to let you know and give you a heads up, there may be a need to call a meeting during the summertime
Okay.
for one, if not two, potential projects.
Sure.
Perfect.
That's
So,
great. We're
we'll,
happy to convene.
We'll let you
3
know.
months off is a long time. I'm sure business is still going on.
And if you'd like, I can still send you the TRTs and the
Yeah, I think that'd be
That'd be a
great.
great idea.
and the CO reports,
Yeah.
just so you have that information as we move through the summer.
Okay.
That would be great.
I'll make
Very
a note,
good.
I'll put it on my calendar.
And I will, I was a bit confused yesterday. I panicked. I saw Monday, May 15th at the top of this, and I'm going, Monday? Did I miss a meeting?
That, and like I was telling Mr. Lloyd, that is the result of coming back late Saturday night after 2 weeks of being on a totally different time
Right,
zone.
right, sure.
And
Okay, very good.
trying to get my schedule back to Eastern time.
Well,
Did you have a good time?
Had a fabulous time.
good.
Absolutely great time.
Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting.